Hi, folks. Welcome back to Crisco's Corner. Trump makes let's ditch pitch to black Americans in op-ed. Black Americans are a crucial voting bloc. For a long time, African Americans in this country have been saying, we've been taken for granted. We get nothing. We get nothing. We get nothing. Think about this. Take a breath. Who's done more for the African Americans in the United States in the last 4 years than any president in my lifetime? And I was born when Eisenhower was president. Trump unveils platinum plan for black Americans. After losing black Americans by 85 points, that's just unbelievable, to Hillary Clinton in 2016, President Trump has made a concentrated push to win a large share of that crucial voting bloc, culminating in an op-ed this week entitled, "My Message to Black America." The president took direct aim at his competitor, claiming he's done more for black community than Democrats like Joe Biden have done in 47 years. You just have to look. You don't have to do any research. In many of these big urban areas, just walk down the street. Is it better than it was 20 years ago? Worse? The same? Has nothing changed? Take a look. And he was right when he said, what the hell do you have to lose? The lowest black unemployment rate in the history of the country before the virus. And the vast majority of those jobs, I believe close to 70%, if I recall correctly, were by women. Same with Hispanics. Same thing. Guys, think about what's going on. Don't let your heart dictate how you're going to vote. Facts speak louder than anything. The unemployment and poverty rates for black Americans hit record lows just before we were attacked by the China virus, Trump wrote. Wages are now growing faster than they have in over a decade, especially for blue-collar workers. All true. You don't have to like the guy. Those things are all true. He also tied the Opportunity Zone program created through the 2017 GOP tax bill. His work with HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, what that stands for, and criminal justice reform known as the First Step Act. Obama didn't do it in 8 years. What was his reform? You say, well, Trump didn't do enough. It's starting. Obama did zero. In the historically black colleges and universities, they had to come every year with their hat in their hand begging for money to help them. So elected officials like Obama could get a photo op and say, look what I'm doing for you, and make them beg every single year. Trump said, the hell with that. Why don't we just put in a big fund and you guys don't have to come crawling back here every year begging for money? Come on, who's really doing the right thing here? There is some evidence that black voters have started to swing towards the president, but they still overwhelmingly support Joe Biden. It's a shame. According to the latest Fox poll, 80% of black Americans support the Biden-Harris ticket, while 14% back Trump and Pence. It's way better than it was, but that thing should be 30, 40% for Trump at least. Black voters are a big part of the reason Biden became the Democratic nominee. When the former vice president's candidacy was imperiled earlier this year, he delivered a forceful victory in South Carolina by capturing 61% of the state's black vote, according to the Washington Post exit polls. I just don't understand. I don't understand. This has nothing to do with Trump. Historically, this is the way blacks in this country have voted. Haven't you been hoodwinked enough? Haven't you been? Yeah, this is what you've been told and drilled with since the day you were born, as long as you can remember. Vote Democrat, vote Democrat, vote Democrat. It's tough to change. It really is. It's really hard. I get it. I used to be a Democrat my whole life. I'll be 64 this month. And I left in 2013, and it did break my heart. But I did it. I did it because I had to. After locking up a nomination, Biden picked up Senator Kamala Harris, Democrat from California, as his running mate, make her the first black woman ever to be on a major party's presidential ticket. Trump is pitching an economic renewal for black Americans in the second term to pull some of the voters away from the Biden-Harris ticket. We've unveiled my second-term agenda called Platinum Plan for Black Economic Empowerment to ensure even more black Americans have the opportunity to succeed over the next 4 years. the president wrote in his op-ed dubbed on the Dallas Weekly website Friday. Now, think about this for a minute. How many times have you heard this complaints from, especially in urban areas, from minority, non-white voters? Yeah, they come around every 2 or 4 years and promise this and wah, wah, wah. Sound like, the adults in Charlie Brown. Wah, 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 wah. And then we don't see him for 2 to 4 years. Trump's been around. He's had tons of people over the White House, all kinds of conferences, all kinds of meetings. If I'm not mistaken, Ice Cube sat down with Jared Kushner, his son-in-law, and one of his top advisors for 4 hours in the White House, saying, what's the real deal? Well, how can we really help besides this rhetoric that they hear all the time? I'm committed to adding 3 million new jobs for the black community, creating 500,000 black-owned businesses, and increasing access to capital in black communities by almost $500 billion to create an era of new prosperity and finally close the wealth gap. Here's the part that pisses off the Democrats, especially the ones that hate Trump's guts. The guy says what he's going to do, he does. They might not like his promises. So we heard about for a million years, especially from minority voters. They make all these promises and they never do anything. Well, the guy's trying to keep every single promise he's ever made, including this one. Can you imagine how much more prosperity there would be if they had a cooperative Congress? It didn't have to be the same party, just cooperative. My God. It's unbelievable. You talk about the wealth gap. Let's start to close it. It's got to start somewhere. Everybody's in this. We have to have everything instantly fixed because we live in this clickbait society, internet, where we get gratification of what we want instantly. No, the world isn't like that. Lil Wayne, this is kind of comical. I got a little chuckle out of it. Just had a great meeting with the real Donald Trump and POTUS. Besides what he's done so far with criminal reform, the Platinum Plan is going to give the community real ownership. He listened to what we had to say and assured he will and can get it done. He will. He will. President Trump also worked with rapper Ice Cube, whose real name is O'Shea Jackson, on the Platinum Plan. Another rapper, Lil Wayne, born Dwayne Michael Carter Jr., met with the president Thursday saying the Platinum Plan is going to give the community real ownership. Yeah. You don't feel like you're part of a community unless you own part of it, unless you got a stake in it. 50 Cent, real name Curtis James Jackson III, appeared to endorse the president earlier this month when he publicly criticized Biden's tax policies, but he has since reversed his support. And that's a shame because he got a whole bunch of crap. You got to be afraid to who you support. You have to be afraid to take all the facts, put them together, and make your decision. It's pitiful. Black voter turnout fell for the first time in 2 decades in 2016, declining from almost 60% from a record high, almost 67% in 2012, according to Pew Research. But with early voting turnout already breaking records in the U.S. year, the black vote will be an important block that could swing the election for Republicans or Democrats. They've always been important. That's why the Democrats are freaking out. They've lied, they've hoodwinked, they just plain old used and took for granted the entire minority community in this country. And now it's time to say no. Make them pay for their nonsense and their lies and deceit. You know what? If you don't want to vote for Trump, that's fine. I get it. You hear it from so many people and you hate his guts, blah, blah, blah. Just don't vote for any Democrats. Write in your own name. Do what you have to do. Just don't contribute to the Democrats taking advantage of the minority community in this country again. Don't give them that authority. You want to vote for Trump? Fine. Write in your own name. Write in John Kennedy. Write in Barack Obama. I really don't care. Just don't vote for Biden. It is not in your best interest. Well, folks, thanks for your time and attention. I think the facts are more than clear that President Trump is much better for minorities, especially blacks in this country. But we'll see how they decide. It's their decision in the end. Until next time, goodbye and good luck.